Yay Networks.
We're going to start this show by getting you really in your bodies, getting you really connected, and creating a safe space for you to really drop in and take in the information that we're going to be sharing with you today. So if you can, if it's safe, obviously, if you're driving, keep your eyes open, please. We're going to have you close your eyes and just take a minute and tune into your body. Feel whatever sensations are going on, letting them be okay. And you're going to take a really deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, all the way down into your toes and back out. And now imagining a golden sphere of light and a white iridescent bubble. You're going to watch that bubble expand with each breath to contain your auric field, creating safety on every single level. And within that space, we're calling in deepest love and highest consciousness, and whatever ascended master resonates the most with you to connect and be with you, to tap you into your deeper knowing and inner wisdom and truth, bringing clarity to understand and find valuable information in what's being shared today and how that applies to you. Go ahead and open your eyes.
Hi, Wild Ones. Welcome back to the Wild Rose Podcast. I'm Whitney Rose.
And I'm Connie Daniels. Wow, that really set a very calm feeling and mood. I love that. You can hear it in our voices.
We are so honored to have Candace back today with us. You were here just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And today we're really excited to dive more into femininity and owning your feminine power and taking a deeper dive into what that means, what that looks like, and really owning your sexuality and using, like, connecting with yourself. I don't know, Candace, you can take over. You're the expert, but I love the femininity. I love Shakti mantra is a mantra that I really love, which means owning your feminine power, your ability to create and destroy. I've shared so much about different things that I do, and I thought it would be fun to actually share with all of you something I actually haven't done before, but I have been really interested in, is womb healing, not only just for trauma, but me as a female body who has birthed 2 babies, as a sexual being, as, you know, all of these experiences that I've had. And so I've actually never done it. I've never practiced it. So I thought it'd be fun to bring all of you along live with me as we do it. So this is definitely an episode I would say that you'd want to watch on YouTube if you can. We're going to do our best. Candace is going to do her best to explain it audibly, but that is something that I've learned is through my journey is exactly what you just said. And I'm really learning how to own that.
Yes.
So talk to us more about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone starts in the womb. That's a universal experience. Men, women, that's the creatrix of life. We all get our foundational programming of our beingness within that space. And you can follow your consciousness back to your experience in the womb. I've done it quite often. And so there's so many facets of womb healing. One of them being healing maybe some codes that you got from your mother's experience while she was pregnant with you, everything to her stability in her relationship at that time is going to get encoded in your being. And then that's how you're operating in the world and relationships. So
that makes so much sense.
It's critical and important to understand and heal your own womb-like experience. And I take people through all the time, and I can do that in my sessions, and how to follow back to those experiences, those primal codes in the subconscious mind, and create a more authentic one to oneself. Breath work is also something I've done a lot. Oh man, I have a friend named Colette, and she holds womb healing retreats where the last one I went to, there were 100 women, 100 wombs in one room. And we do a really intense holotropic type breathwork process, which is the one that gets you into altered states of consciousness.
What is that breath pattern like?
So it's extremely deep and it's fast. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on breathing and expanding my lower belly. So pulling the breath deeply into my belly so it's fully expanding, and then expanding my chest. And I take it a step further where then I have the breath literally come up and expand my mind. So if you imagined 3 spheres, one in your lower belly, one in your chest, and one in your head, and you're pulling the breath that deeply and fairly rapidly. So I'll try to demo it sitting down. I normally do it lying down, but repeatedly over and over and over. And eventually it will actually tap into the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems and give you that altered state of consciousness. And you can drop so primally and deeply where there's no thought. You can have full out-of-body experiences as if you'd taken a psychedelic drug.
I have a question for you, though. So obviously talking about womb healing, what would be some of the things that you would have to heal from? Because, you talked a little bit about from when you were in the womb, but I don't even have a womb anymore. Whitney and I have both had hysterectomies. Okay. So, then there's that
define
aspect.
Womb. Is it your uterus?
I'm so happy you brought this up. So
we're getting real basic. I'm feeling left out. No.
The womb is the physical organ. But here's the beautiful thing. Even though your physical organ has been removed, you still have the energy of the womb. Okay. It's still there. If you've ever heard of phantom limbs, it's the same concept on an energy level, that it's still constructed and there energetically, just physically not there. But you can have phantom pains, like people who are amputees talk about how they'll have an itch or they'll have pain in that limb that's not physically there. It's the same thing.
Right. Well, we both still have our ovaries. Yeah. Yes. And I sometimes, so we still drop an egg. We still cycle. And I, in the beginning, used to get cramps. And I'm like, why am I cramping?
Yes.
I don't get
it's
this.
Still there.
Yeah. I'm still emotional. I can't put it into words, but it was really hard to let go of. But I didn't make the decision. But I physically couldn't live with what I was dealing with at the time. So I had to, I really had to physically do it. Yeah. But I was really worried about being able to connect to that energy. But what Candace is saying, it's I've had to almost pretend it's still there. Right. Yeah.
But like you were explaining, it basically still, all of the energy and everything it created while it was physically there is still there.
Well, and I guess there's still trauma from removing it.
Right.
Because I'm crying.
It's so fresh.
And I want to validate that. Yeah. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that story, because it's so common that women are getting hysterectomies and needing them, and that's valid. And so I never want anyone to feel ashamed of their choices or what they've had to do. And I want to give the hope that you can connect. You can still tap into that power.
Well, because the chakra and the energy is still it's still there. The power's there.
It's weird what it psychologically does, though. I didn't realize how attached I was to it. And I was just like, get it out. I'm so tired of going through all this stuff I was going through with it. But when it came right down to it, I was like, wait, I didn't realize I was attached to this part of my body.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a difficult decision,
yeah.
no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
Do you think, Candace, that like that similar feeling that's like a connection we have, it's, and I'm sure anyone who's had a hysterectomy will feel that way, but do you think that's just the materialistic, like the physical body aspect of it? Because the energy, like, is what you're saying, it's like the energy's still there, that's just the physical part of the body.
So when you have the physical organ there, it's probably at first easier to connect to and feel. And so when I'm guiding people, I always like to say, connect to the energy of your womb or your womb, because I don't want to leave anyone out. And I want to get your mental, your mind, body connection, telling your brain, no, this energy here, it's still important. It's still here. I still want a connection there. It just might take a little bit of focus, some meditative practices. And I have no doubt that you guys could feel that full blooming of power that you had with the physical organ.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
You know, when those times in life show up that you just feel off and disconnected, maybe you're a little down, discouraged, and you don't really even know why.
Yeah.
When I go to therapy or I have a therapist to talk to in a third party, it really helps me to get centered with myself again and to ground myself and to have a direction again in my life. Because sometimes in life, it's hard to figure that out by yourself.
Absolutely. And sometimes you just need that third person to validate you or help you navigate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices and the path forward isn't always clear. Whether you're dealing with decisions around your career, relationships, or anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want and really helps you navigate life on a clearer path so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values is like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets.
You know, I really love therapy because it does give me that perspective from somebody else to help me move forward and navigate through things that feel really hard at times. I love that that's even an option for me in life.
Yeah, I agree. And I love therapy because sometimes it just validates where I'm at. I just need that third party validation that I'm doing the right things. And
Everything's okay.
Yeah, everything's okay. This is normal. This is what's to be expected. And I also love when I need help looking at things from a different perspective and having a therapist help guide me through those steps.
Right, when things don't feel okay.
Yes.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/wildrose today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/wildrose. Awesome. Well, okay, so going back to the part, we kind of went off on that for a second.
No, sorry.
I feel like it needed to come up.
Yeah. This is the juicy, real stuff.
Right.
I love it.
Like we got way off track just because naturally we do. But like what I know, like some other things that we heal from in the womb, like our cycles, period, coding from our parents, that makes so much sense because I've had to work through, we've talked about this already on the other podcast, generational trauma.
Yes.
But like even what other types of things?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's on an energy level, it's like another heart space. It's literally a portal to another dimension. That's how we entered this one, is through the womb. So when you really get woo-woo and energetic and spiritual, this is a portal to another dimension. The wisdom,
cool.
the wisdom that is there when you can connect to the intuition of the womb is beyond profound. To have that connected to your heart and your mind can lead you on the right path for you in this lifetime, can connect you back to your purpose, can connect you to an intuitive knowing of how to create the best possible, happiest life for yourself. That's pretty profound.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And I would assume, because like the things that we've talked about, it also helps people who maybe have shame around it from being taken advantage of or, abused in some way. Or, I mean, statistically, 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted, right?
Yes.
So I would imagine a lot of people, do they seek you out for that too? Or is that different?
So yes, I can work with all of this. In my program, I did female sexuality as one of my majors. Because of the history of sexual abuse and wanting to help women heal and create that connection. Because if there is trauma there, which I would say we all have womb trauma to one degree or another, you have a resistance. There's a disconnection to that part of the body, even to the felt sense, like we talked about last time, where, that's where all the good, juicy stuff's happening. You need to be down there and connect to that feeling, the pleasure, but also, like I said, the wisdom, the way of following your own truth and being in alignment with that in your life.
So womb healing is where I'm at personally, because I mean, talking to me. I don't know. It's our podcast. Because I'm like over the hump of like I've let go of the past. Like I've closed up those wounds, and right now what I'm really working on is the feminine power. Like I'm working on feeling worthy of standing and staying in the power instead of coming in and out. So that's where I'm at personally. I think Connie, are you like?
Well, that's kind of this similar, or you have to be very present to do such thing, right? And I've been trying to be really extra present and intentional. So I think that's kind of the same.
Because I've noticed, like, just even in my friendships, my relationships, my marriage, as being a mom, but the place that I see it the most where I'm standing in my power is my business.
Mm-hmm.
When I can stay in my feminine power and like not teeter in it and stay in it, the flow that you're talking about, like I see it in everything. Like my business is going well. I'm creating. It's not stressful. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm outside playing with the kids. I'm like, Justin and I are like in a good place. But when I step out of it, everything is disrupted. And blocks, like everything stops. Like it, and then it's like yesterday I cry in Connie's arms, like I'm so overwhelmed. Why am I trying to do 100 million things?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the womb can be that deep. You can talk to her as if it's another consciousness within self, because ultimately it is.
Yeah.
And find that flow that you talked about. And it's like athletes, when they talk about getting in the flow, it's the same thing, but with your feminine, divine self.
I'm glad you brought that up, Whitney, because I've always struggled like being in my feminine energy. I'm very much in my masculine energy a lot. I feel like it's, in a sense, like a protective energy. And I don't know why I feel like must go back to childhood things or whatever. But as I'm getting older, like I'm realizing too, like when I am in that flow, that is my feminine flow. And I am a little bit more creative and I can be softer around the edges and it feels better. And I see when I'm like that around my husband, like even this morning, I never do this and maybe I should, but he was getting ready to go and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to run down and like jump on him and give him the biggest hug. And like, and I don't really do that. So I totally surprised him, jumped up on him. I'm like, and I kissed him. And then, but I was like, that was sort of a feminine thing for me to do.
Mhm.
And he was like, oh my gosh, that just set my whole day up.
Yes.
That meant everything to me. Thank you. Like he was so happy, and which made me happy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I do more like cute things like that? You know, I don't know.
I love that you shared that because I remember like a couple years ago, Connie and I talk about everything. And remember when I was like, maybe just like stroke his ego a little bit. And you were like, no, I don't want to. I was like, maybe just like give him a compliment. And Connie's like, Whitney, stop. So I'm glad that you're finding your feminine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I just think I didn't really call it that, but that is what it is, you know?
Well, and I used to be really good at it, and I didn't realize that I was always in my feminine power until I started trying to achieve more professionally, and I went out of it.
And
Which
then, naturally I think you do, right?
Yeah, and
it's
then
very
it
easy to
severely affected my relationship because Justin's used to me being like nurturing and like stroking his ego and jumping on him. And now I'm like, why aren't you jumping on me? Why aren't you petting my hair? Why aren't you?
Yes.
So I want to know, just because of time, like you had something prepared that we were going to do, right?
Ooh, yes. Okay.
Should we take a quick break real quick?
Yeah.
And then when we come back, we'll kind of shift gears a little bit and
we'll
dive
do
into this.
experiential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Okay. Diving back in.
So first off, I'm just going to adjust because anytime you're connecting with someone, it's important to get your physical body language in that state. So uncrossed, hands open, facing each other.
Do you want to move the table?
A caveat, you're going to hit resistance because we all do to intimacy and connection. And so I look at this, I use Teal Swans. I want to give her a shout out. I'm going to really use a lot of her methodology here, even though a lot of people have created their own process. So you're going to hit some walls and landscapes internally on both sides. It's important to keep your focus, attention, and awareness 30% on yourself, your own experience of either resistance, connection, whatever you're having, felt sense, physical sensation in the body, emotional experiences that you're having in your body, and 70% on the other person. So you're completely attuned. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And I'm going to do where we're going to go rhythmically at the same time. So as I breathe in my nose, you breathe in your nose. As I breathe out my mouth, you breathe out your mouth. And we're going to hold eye contact. You can do this either two ways. You can soften your eyes and your gaze to like take in both eyes at the same time, or you can just focus in on one. I usually do the left because it's the receptive side.
Okay.
So
am I looking at your left eye right now?
So
I can't tell.
You're going to be, do you want to be the penetrated or do you want to penetrate me energetically?
I want to be penetrated.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is first we need to state our intention that we desire to connect. Like this is something we choose with our free will. We want to do this. There may be some parts that have some resistance that come up. Let them come up. Notice they're there. Feel what you feel and just keep breathing. Keep focusing on connecting with me. And so I'm literally going to focus my energy as if I could come out of my eyes and directly into your soul through your eyes. That's my focus of what I'm going to be doing. And you're going to open and receive.
Okay.
So we're going to start by breathing in through the nose.
Do I move with you?
You don't have to. It's just me moving energy as I'm connecting to it in your body. That's just a tick I have as I move energy. But if you feel the desire to move at any point, that's your body processing energy, so let it.
Okay.
If you feel like sounding on the exhale, let it. If you feel like crying or releasing in any way, yawning, anything like that, that can be a sign of release of energy of, oh, we melted through a wall and we're going through the other side.
Do you know what's crazy is I can see you. There's so much. It's like fuzz.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It's a part of your wall. So we're going to let it be there. I'm going to connect to the fuzz. And I'm not going to push your boundaries or go any further than that. I'm going to stay lovingly at your wall, no matter how long it's there. And I'm going to continue connecting to you.
Okay.
I kind of equate it like if there's a kid crying, needs to shut the door in the bathroom, I'm going to let him have that shut door, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting right outside. I'm letting him know I'm still here. I'm still present. Whatever you're going through, I'm in it with you. And I'm not going to go any further than you feel safe letting me go. So
Okay.
I'm happy that you're noticing that fuzz, and we're just going to breathe and be with it exactly how it is.
Okay.
And I'm just going to like focus on my end. You can either do two things. You can match the frequency of the fuzz and be like join it vibrationally, or feel love, feel connection towards it, almost like a godlike presence of like, no matter what you throw at me, no matter what shields you put up, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
Feel that?
So what's crazy, just sitting, being a bystander, I can feel the energy.
And it's okay that you have any wall up. They're there
It's
for
going
a
away.
reason. Yeah, so that's the intention of, I always want to keep connecting deeper if that's okay,
Yeah.
if there's an opening or a melting. But it does. Did you kind of feel how the energy almost melted and the fuzz like let me through?
Mhm. Yeah, it feels lighter.
Mm-hmm. You want me to go a little bit deeper there? See, it's a very intuitive felt process. And if you're not a normally like really intuitive person, like I know you're very gifted that way, you still can have extremely profound experiences. You can have visual distortions. You can have all sorts of felt realities happening.
Can you feel me surrendering?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to
Yeah.
open.
You are, and you're doing a wonderful job, and you're doing it on the spot, which is not easy to do.
Yeah.
So what do you do with a partner that isn't open to doing this with you? Is that when you do it with
Thank
yourself in
you.
the mirror?
Yes,
'Cause
and I want to
for
be
sake of
very
time.
gentle coming. Like when you're
Yeah.
coming out of this process, you need to be very, very gentle. Like if you hit a very profound, deeply sensitive, vulnerable feeling, I would not choose that moment at all.
Yeah.
I would wait until we dropped into a softer layer where there's more love and like connection feeling on your end. And then that we can both decide to like end the connection or just change the connection at that point. And so with time, I want to be sensitive, but I also want to not damage your auric field and like just fully withdrawing. So how this goes, like I said, you find that layer where there's some like love, presence. I feel like you're there.
Mhm.
And so we're just going to both set the intention that like, thank you for connecting with me. It feels so lovely to do that with you. You have such a lovely energy. It feels so good to feel. And I'm just going to slowly just withdraw my penetrative gaze.
Whoa.
And we're just going to like respect that outer auric boundary.
Yeah.
But you feel that, right?
I felt you leave.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
That's pretty cool.
it's a really deep practice. So like I said, 5 minutes of that before having sex can take you to the most profound experiences. It's extremely healing. It's really integrative as a couple, even with yourself. Do it in the mirror. You just literally just decide the reflection in the mirror or you is either or. That's how that works that way.
And like
Okay,
what
cool.
I just felt and learned was it's okay to let down that wall. Like
With someone
like
safe,
like
that's
someone
there,
safe.
yes.
I was actively the 70%, 30% thing. I felt safe, and then when I asked if you can tell I'm surrendering, the wall went down, and I felt like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I can trust people.
Yes, which when like that's such a profound experience with your past to feel that like sensitivity on such a energetic level. And if I gave you the blueprint quiz, I would bet energy sex is like one of your top turn-ons.
Mm-hmm.
Like just feeling your energy. I feel like I could give you some resources to dive deeper in that and teach your partner on how to turn you on that way, even if they don't speak that language or it's not the same.
Yes, please.
Yes. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing that with me.
Thank you for doing that with me. That was very beautiful. And for anyone listening, you might want to go watch the YouTube channel. It'll make more sense.
Yes.
I hate that we have to go, but can we just leave everyone one last time where they can find you?
Yeah. So my Instagram is probably the easiest. It's Candace Campbell Healing. And that's Candace, CandaceCampbell.
Yes, we spelled it wrong last time.
It's okay. I know. I didn't even notice. You guys sent
we
it to me
fixed it.
to like check, and I like.
Yeah. We did get it fixed. I didn't even know they could do that after something.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and like thank you to everyone who's followed along that you got to witness an active healing session. This is like kind of what kind of practices I seek out and do, and it might be weird to listen to or hard to understand over a screen, but if you were in this room, Connie can attest to like I just released one of my biggest things is trust issues, and that comes from fear and experiences, whatever. But I was able to let down, I don't know Candace very well, and I was able to let down a wall and trust her because I felt her energy, and that's beautiful. So these are the types of things that I seek out to help myself and to help stay in my feminine power and get it back, stay in it, and not wobble in it. So.
And I will say, just as a caveat, and anyone that's doing this, you have no idea how profoundly deep that goes, right? Like you felt it, on some level, but I just want you to give your body and your energy field and yourself some grace, especially today, just like, if I have a little bit of a vulnerable moment and I don't know why, like you deeply opened up. And so that's totally valid, totally okay. If you ever need to reach out or check in with me about something or ask me a question, I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you. I needed that today deeply.
It will go
and
go with you.
I didn't realize how I know you did barely even penetrated me, but I didn't realize how deep that actually was until you left. Like that was, and we weren't even far. So well, thank you to everyone for listening and following along. Candace, thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me. I love this, you guys.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
And don't forget, be you, stay wild.
Yay Networks.